We will now call this hearing back to order. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully we won't have too many more interruptions before this ends. Our next witness is Walter Blackwell, the President and CEO of National Veterans Business Development Corporation. The Veterans Corporation was established in 1999 to provide entrepreneurial development services for our nation's veterans. Mr. Blackwell, you will be recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, ranking members, and members of the subcommittee, I want to thank you for the opportunity to discuss Veterans Corporation, TVC more specifically, our outreach efforts and business development service delivery to veteran entrepreneurs across the country. The mission of TVC is to create more prosperous communities and a stronger national economy by fostering business opportunities for veterans, service-disabled veterans. Our special status as a federally supported yet independent 501c3 organization creates a public-private partnership that maximizes the effectiveness and efficient use of public funds on behalf of veteran entrepreneurs. TVC continues to fulfill its mission in spite of increasingly limited funding from Congress and the strict privacy laws that deny us access to contact information about current and former members of our armed forces, precisely the individuals who form TVC's target market for membership. TVC helps our veteran entrepreneurs maintain their competitive edge by providing direct program services to veterans, including business education and training, one-on-one counseling, participation in transition assistance program seminars at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, and around-the-clock worldwide access to a comprehensive suite of online business tools and resources. TVC acts as an entrepreneurial catalyst and facilitators for veterans, service-disabled veterans, and members of the armed forces by creating a network of resources, leveraging partners, and building nationwide community-based veteran entrepreneurial support, particularly in areas with the largest number of veterans. In implementing TVC's mission, our goal is always to reach the most veterans possible. To that end, we must leverage every dollar we receive to a worldwide program that reaches out to veteran entrepreneurs in every state, on the front lines, in all stages of business creation and growth. Under the auspices of our mandate to establish and maintain a network of centers nationwide, we operate a strong national hub headquartered in Washington, D.C., that provides direct business counseling and is responsible for implementing programs that can provide veterans across the country with the most critical business tools, resources, and knowledge. TVC's competitive grant process allows TVC to identify, cultivate, and support veteran entrepreneurial programs at business resource centers nationwide in order to bring one-on-one information and resources to more local veteran communities. TVC has listened to its constituency and established significant, effective programs that are successfully helping veterans start and grow businesses. Responding to veteran entrepreneurs' pleas for access to capital, TVC created a program that is without a doubt the most successful program in the veteran-owned business community. In FY07 alone, almost 4,600 veterans seeking capital to start or grow businesses downloaded our Access to Capital questionnaire. 216 submitted answers, 209 received individual financial counseling by our national staff, who worked with them to refine their business plans and prepare for loans. We referred 73 of those veterans to our partner, the National Economic Opportunity Fund, NEOF, which provided 2 or more financial strategy and advising sessions to each of those 73. Through TVC and NEOF's partnership, veterans are eligible to receive financing above and beyond those that are offered by the SBA on a fraction of SBA's budget and staff size. 2 tremendous success stories clearly illustrate the positive effect TVC's Capital Access program has on our veterans. One example is the Army National Guard Lieutenant Trinity Cazzola, who was used to being a man on a mission. In 2007, while he was still deployed in Iraq, he expanded his mission to include lending his entrepreneurial spirit to the rebirth of New Orleans. On November 26, 2007, Lieutenant Cazzola opened Maya's restaurant on Magazine Street in New Orleans. Just 4 short months earlier, he was on active duty in Iraq. It was from Iraq that he contacted TVC for help. Lieutenant Cazzola called our office in D.C. during his downtime, 12:30 a.m., Baghdad time, and talked to our staff about the need for capital and the barriers he faced on active duty in Iraq. TVC provided Trinity with full-service support from business plan to advice, worked with our local bankers, and in fewer than 60 days, Lieutenant Cazzola found a loan to get his business started. In Fredericksburg, Virginia, TVC helped a soldier and his family create a triumph moment on November 22nd, 2007. Over the past 4 years, the Santiago family had been coping with traumatic brain injury. Joe Santiago suffered while he was on a mission in Kuwait. Unable to hold a traditional 9-to-5 job, Joe and his wife decided to go into business and open a franchise that they could own and manage as a family. When their loan fell through at the last minute, Joe and his wife contacted TVC. TVC's partner, Neoff, began negotiating with bank officers, and within a month, the Santiagos had the loan and were preparing for their grand opening, a Nestle's Toll House Cafe by Chip franchise. It's an accomplishment that once seemed impossible, but it was achieved through the help of our TVC and partner. TVC's national hub has also implemented a nationwide surety bonding program. May I continue? This program is crucial for veteran contractors to secure some of the $550 billion non-residential construction trade. They must be surety bonded. Through TVC and its partner, the Surety and Fidelity Association of America, celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, veteran contractors have access to education and training that teaches them how to do business with the government and how to become bonded. SBA's program is capped at $2 million, with an average SBA-backed bond at about $250,000. This is not enough for veterans and service-disabled veterans to successfully compete for federal contracts. By comparison, TVC's program is in all 50 states, it has no caps, and last year, TVC helped qualify $6.7 million in new surety bond programs. These affinity partnerships help TVC make the best use of its restricted staff and financial resource. Each partnership is carefully considered and specifically applicability and value of the veteran entrepreneurial community. Each affinity agreement is vetted through our pro bono law firm to ensure that TVC and veteran interests are being well maintained. In keeping with the rapid pace of change in our military and our economy, TVC's national staff members created and monitor an online veterans business forum, connectvets.com, that facilitates veteran-to-veteran business support. One veteran wrote TVC on February 20th to thank him for this forum, saying, quote, "The information you provided me will assist our attorneys in a more timely and accurate preparation of our new teaming agreement. Keep up the great work," unquote. Additionally, TVC staff members make presentations at conferences, seminars, and events and implement nationwide programs that reach specific veteran communities, including service-disabled veterans and members of the National Guard and Reserve. Added to these programs, TVC is a component of the Army Career and Alumni Program, ACAP, and has opened an office at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, through which we are providing direct counseling, hosting business classes, and serving as a critical transition step for our nation's men and women. TVC also offers...
Excuse me, Mr. Blackwell, are you getting close?
I have more.
Obviously, it's been submitted to the record, so if we can, let's move on. We typically only have 5 minutes, and we never know when the next procedural vote will come forward. So
thanks.
Thank you for your testimony. I do apologize.
Oh, that's fine. I would just like to ask that TVC's annual report, our audit report, our strategic plan, and the letters from support be entered into the record as well, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our next witness is Don Wilson, President and CEO of the Association of Small Businesses Development Centers. The association is partnerships program uniting private enterprise, government, and higher education, local nonprofit development organizations. Mr. Wilson, you'll be recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Schuler, Ranking Member Fortenberry.
You need to turn your mic on.
Appreciate greatly the opportunity to appear before the subcommittee and discuss the Small Business Development Center program. A little over 30 years ago, the SBDC started as a pilot program in a handful of universities. Since that time, the program has grown to 63 programs in all 50 states, Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the District of Columbia, the Virgin Islands. We're now serving approximately 600,000 small businesses annually. Unfortunately, those numbers are declining. For the last 7 years, until the 2008 fiscal year, SBD funding from 2001 until 2007 was going backwards. As a result, the infrastructure had been decaying, not unlike bridges, roads, et cetera. We are very fortunate and appreciate your leadership, the leadership of Ms. Velasquez and others on the committee who have advocated for increased funding for this program. We're not back to where we need to be in inflation terms. If you look at 2001, you've gone down about 24% until we got this new increase. If you look at the testimony, page 2, I cite a number of examples of what is happening in individual state programs. The loss of counselors, the loss of centers. You know, speaking of veterans, we normally serve 50 to 60,000 veterans annually. We're now below 50. We simply don't have the counselor capacity to serve them like we would like to. We hope that the additional dollars that we've received in 2008 will begin to reverse that. But incredibly and unfortunately, the administration's budget has proposed for 2009 a $10 million cut, which quite frankly would be catastrophic. Our biggest concern right now is to look at the economy in the state it's in, the declining jobs, the severe credit crunch that small businesses are facing, rising energy costs and so forth, and realize that for many small businesses, they've only been in business during the good years, say the last 5 years when the economy was growing. They've never faced a declining economy. It's kind of like a stockbroker never being in a bear market. These people, many of them without any management education, will be coming to us for assistance to keep their businesses afloat, and we're not going to have the counselor capacity to serve them. We work with all of our partners. We work with women's business centers. We work with SCORE. We work with the Veterans Corp. We work with the PTACs. We've tried to work with the TAP program with the military so that we're reaching all of these individual constituencies. I think the numbers are very dramatic. Over 40% of SBDC clients are women. That is decidedly higher than the percentage of women who are business owners who are women. Well over 30% of our clients are minorities. Once again, considerably higher than the percentage of minorities among small business owners. We have identified the at-risk, the underserved. We're trying to reach out to them, but we cannot continue to do it. We can't do more with less, as has been suggested to us for a number of years. I do want to acknowledge the tremendous cooperation that we've had from the Associate Administrator and his staff and his predecessor, Cheryl Mills. Many of the issues that we've had with the agency over years have been, I think, alleviated. For many years, SBA basically goaled us on how many people we saw. Our funding partners goaled us on our economic impact. And so, as a result of the work of Anoop and his predecessor, that's been changed, and I think that's very, very favorable to the outlook for this program. One of the things that concerns us, Mr. Chairman, is we're now beginning to see a number of new grant programs designed for SBDCs. There was some confusion as to whether that intended those monies were to come out of core funding or new funding. That's an issue that we've brought to the attention of all the staff on both the House and the Senate side, both the authorizing committees and the appropriating committees, and we're very grateful for the response that we're getting to address that issue. We don't want to see a situation where we take monies away from, say, 42 or 45 states who are serving veterans to provide a veterans grant program for half a dozen states. That's a zero-sum game, and that will not serve our veterans well. At this time, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Our next witness is Melinda Sanderson, a member of the Public Policy Council for Association of Women's Business Centers, and she is speaking on behalf of the organization today.
Chairman Schuler, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Melinda Sanderson. I'm the Executive Director of the Canisius College Women's Business Center located in Buffalo, New York. I'm proud to serve as the National Chair for the Women's Business Center Association as the Public Policy Chair. The mission of the Association of Women's Business Centers, which was founded in 1998, is to support the entrepreneurial development programs for women across the country. There's currently 99 federally funded programs, and we see approximately 150,000 women-owned businesses on an annual basis. I'm in a unique position that I bring to you a perspective as someone in the field actually running a center. I'm proud to tell you that at the Women's Business Center at Canisius College in Buffalo, New York, we serve just over 2,000 program participants on an annual basis. And since the program was established in 2003, we've had just over 8,000 total program participants. Our program is somewhat unique as we are embedded within an entrepreneurial program in the School of Business. We are a completely external business program, but it allows us to truly leverage the relationship and the partnership, which is a true public-private partnership. I also speak to you today having been a women business owner for 10 years, and I bring that perspective to my role as executive director of this particular Women's Business Center. I was asked to address 3 specific issues. The first one was to evaluate the portfolio and the capacity to meet the needs. In my testimony, you'll see that I have indicated that I think that it's difficult, it has been difficult for this particular program, the Women's Business Center program, to keep pace with the quantity of growth of women business owners in the United States. So I think that although we are having significant outcomes, it has been difficult to keep pace with the exponential growth in women business owners domestically. The second area I was asked to address is the SBA's oversight efforts and distribution of resources. Quite frankly, this is the best relationship we've ever had with the women's business centers and the SBA, and I applaud the leadership of the administrator and Anoop for putting in some real solid business practices, setting benchmarks, best practices, and implementing some real process improvement plans that are going to make a real difference in the running of these programs. Specifically, I was asked to address the federal resource distribution issue. Recently, there was put into place a process improvement, which I believe will significantly improve the implementation of the payment. It was a model which was selected, a national model, a health and human services model. And while it hasn't been implemented yet, it will allow women's business centers to get advanced funding for their grants versus waiting for a request for reimbursement, which in the past has taken an incredible amount of time. So I applaud you for your leadership on that. It's going to make a big improvement for cash flow for these women's business centers, many of whom do not have an institution of higher education like a Jesuit institution behind them to support them financially. The third area that I was asked to address was recommendations to improve the structure and delivery of the program. I think that it's critical that women's business centers have a focus on financial sustainability and leveraging of resources. I also think that it's critical for every women's business center to strategically align themselves and partner with the other resource partners, small business development centers, and SCORE. In Western New York, we've worked very, very hard to develop wonderful relationships, and we actually do a significant amount of collaborative work together. In my opinion, SCORE and SBDC focus primarily on very early stage entrepreneurs, and the Women's Business Center in Buffalo, we focus on all stages, but in a very collaborative effort for those early stages. Quite honestly, I don't have the resources to be able to help people one-on-one write business plans. So what we do is take them after they've gotten their 7A or 504 loan and really help them to sustain, pay back their money, and grow. As far as structure recommendations, I think the district offices should have a planned meeting between the resource partners in their area. I know it's happening in some parts of the country, but I don't think that there's consistency, and I think that would really add to the communication. The depth of collaboration and the connection between the entrepreneurial development agencies, I believe, could be improved, specifically in the area of capital access and procurement. We've worked hard in our local market, but I do believe that there's a disconnect on a national level with helping those that have already received SBA funding to really help them pay back their loans and grow their businesses. The Women's Business Center program should be recognized as an economic development agency versus a social service agency. I believe there's a little bit of confusion in the marketplace around the country, and I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to present this testimony.
Thank you. As you have heard, we have another vote, so we'll be in recess for about 15 minutes, and we'll be right back.
Thank you. Did I hit everything?
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank you.
I
What's it?
said you did well. You could start more.
I figured if I started to tell my little story here, I wouldn't.
It's amazing. It's very hard to say